And another amazing week of college football is upon us, and as Colorado gave us an amazing game last week, I gotta keep following them. I gotta keep predicting them because every single time amazing things happen. So I'm hoping for another amazing game against UCF. Amazing in a different way though. That UCF offense seems to be potent. They seem to be electric. They seem to be clicking on a lot of different angles and ways and making phenomenal football happen. So Colorado needs to come in with a certain level of spunk, a certain level of panache, something like that. They need to play some really good football if they think they're going to beat this UCF squad. Now, a lot of juice coming from Baylor, a lot of juice I'm coming from getting smacked in the mouth from Nebraska. So I think this is going to be an even bigger statement game to see if Baylor was just a fluke, that Hail Mary was just a Hail Mary, or if they are really taking that next step as a ball club. All right, today what we're going to do is watch a few videos, watch a few opinions about how Colorado season is probably going to go. Of course, we're going to predict it. We're going to talk about the stat leaders on both sides. We're going to look at where these offenses and defenses rank across the wild world of college football. And I'll give you my opinion about how I think this game will be. And I've never been wrong, except for that time I was wrong, and those other times I was wrong. Let's get right into it. First things first, Shane Coach, we was just talking about his nice little sack. I want to talk about this little situation here where apparently the Macy, the you know what I'm saying, the On3 a computer has went ahead and predicted Colorado's record. It's not looking great. They say they're going to finish off a nice smooth little 3-9, an extra loss from last season, so that's pretty impressive. Or sorry, an extra loss from last season, and they won't squeak anything out. I got to be honest with you. I know this is just not a camera, but a computer, but I don't think they're going to be 3-9. I think they're going to be closer to about what is it, 5 and 6? Is it 5 and 6? Which one is it? How was it? 14? Oh, sorry, not 5 and 6, 5 and 7. I think 5 and 7 is a little more realistic, man. I know it's not a lot more wins. I don't think they're gonna. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. I'm not gonna tell you nothing because I don't want to ruin my. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to ruin my prediction. But there's winnable games here. If they beat Baylor, I didn't think they were gonna beat Baylor. I didn't think they were gonna beat North Dakota State. So if this team gets better, as teams tend to do in college football, and this is a team that besides the Shiloh Sanders injury, seems to be pretty healthy. Unlike last season when Travis Hunter was already hurt by this point, right? I think they can put at least 2 more games together, dog. At least 2 more games. As long as that win total keeps going up slightly more. I mean, I don't think you can be that mad at Deion Sanders. But let's get into some of the more nittier and the grittierness of it. Here's Coach Prime talking to his people. Let's get into it.
You guys out here like you dominate. When are you gonna want this for you? Not for me, for you, for your family, for your siblings. When are you gonna want it? Start the whole darn practice over.
Dang.
Hold the ball. We got blessed with the outcome.
Damn. Okay. Well, hey, it looks like Coach Prime taking it in the right way. It seems like he taking it like, yo, they got lucky, because I think the whole world is saying, yo, y'all got lucky. So shout out to UCF also for selling that. The Prime effect is very weird, very real. This is phenomenal. And before we get into the actual nitty gritty of football, look at some stats and facts and things. I do want to talk about the fact that I have to, as much as we talk about people being Deion haters and Colorado haters and Shador haters, I have to say that, and maybe this is just because the hype is, it's another year, it's whatever. It's not as bad. The absurd hating for no reason, it's not as bad. There are some reasons to hate Colorado. There's some reasons that I'm critical of Colorado. I love Deion Sanders. Also, I do want to say I made a joke about Deion Sanders in my last video, like the whole 3-toe thing. I'm gonna stand on whatever I say, but I also see how that can be a little insensitive. But I only make jokes because he's made the 3-toe jokes. But I do want to address that and make sure you know, hey man, I'm no Deion hater. I'm not doing that. I can see if y'all don't mess with that, but I'm a refrain from talking about the toes anymore. Okay, I just, what I'm saying, if that makes the most sense, we'll do that. But most importantly, what I was saying about Deion Sanders is the unneeded hate has not been as frequent as it usually is. Right. So I think it's really good to be able to see that a lot of people just criticizing him for being a poor coach sometimes, or having poor offensive coordinator play and defensive coordinator play, however that works. So I think that things are starting to even out there. But we also cannot deny that people love Deion Sanders. Now that we've gotten over the hatred, we can now be realistic and say, hey, people love Deion Sanders. He's done a lot of great things. He's very energetic. He does great things for these players, right? And at the same time, in the same notion, the same token, I think he's a great player-to-player motivator. He might not be the most effective X and O's guy, because the game of football is an ever-changing thing. You have to be a dang demon when it comes to new play calls, new ways, understanding recognitions and stuff like that. It's not just simply my thing glitched out. It's not simply just something where you have to what's it called? It's not simply something where You have to just can't be overstated how amazing Deion Sanders is. This is my point. Continuing forward. Let's get into the actual dang foosball. All right, let's look at it. Wow, 82% of it is going like that. It looks like a UCF. Oh, while the line is actually closing. Okay. At first, they were up minus 25 or 25 or something like that. So line is shrinking out a little bit. That's something. Look at these leaders in comparative. Shedeur Sanders with 13. God, he has 1,300 yards. That's crazy. 11 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. KJ Jefferson with 563 touchdowns. 563 yards, 5 touchdowns and an interception. 16 carries for Mr. Welch, and that is the freshman who just came in. 87 yards. 87 yards is their leading rusher, by the way. For Colorado, 87. It's week 5. Their leading rusher has 87 yards. UCF's leading rusher, he's a dog, by the way. So let's not get it twisted. 59 carries for 448 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He almost has more touchdowns than Shiloh Sanders. But someone that is definitely a dog, and this is playing both sides of the field, ladies and gentlemen. 37 receptions, 472 yards for 5 touchdowns. This kid is a little bit effective, huh? 13 receptions for 310 yards. That boy touches it and just tries to get to the end zone. God dang, that's crazy. Looking at the last 3, not the last 5 or last 4, you know what I'm talking about. Let's check it out. Obviously, North Dakota State, a very embarrassing win, an embarrassing loss, a good win, a dominant win against your rivals, and a miraculous win against Baylor. UCF, we have a dang blowout, and then an impressive win against what's supposed to be a decent TCU team. But then again, they got embarrassed by SMU. So maybe this isn't as lopsided as people think. I think this is more people thinking that Colorado is bad and not that UCF is as great as they are, even though they do have some great talent on UCF. Like I said, especially that running back. That running back is a dog. Actually, before we even get into this, I want to look at some of the team leaders. I want to see, okay, boom. This is interesting. What was that? Sorry. Because this is very important, especially as we talk about the matchups that we will be looking at right here. So first things first, offensive leaders. UCF is number 3 in offensive leaders. I believe that is yards a game. So they are number 3 in yards a game. Defensive leaders, none of them pop up, but they'll obviously a bunch of SEC teams along with that dang Ohio State boys. Complete leaders. What's it called? This is passing yards a game. Colorado at 355, so they're up here in the top 5. Yards allowed. Obviously, neither of those teams are going to show up. Man, get out of here. UCF is number 1 in rushing yards a game. Now, I will say when we get into this, and Colorado's rushing defense isn't as bad as you think it is. It's bad, but it's not as bad as you think it is. So keeping all those things in mind, let's hop into some of these stats and facts. Ooh. That offense is nasty. Just looking at these complete. Okay. Yards a game, number 5, number 22 in points a game, number 14 in yards a play, number 1 in third down conversions is the UCF Golden Knights. Pretty bad in fourth down conversion, so I mean that's something. But number 1 when it comes to third down conversions in the nation, that's phenomenal. On the defensive side, they're a bit of a more middle pack defense, right? 65, 68, 92-ish. Third offensive. Opponent's third down conversion, they are almost the worst in the league. So that's something to look out for if you're a Colorado fan, that they could get nasty when it comes to the other side, the third downs and conversions there. Now for the rushing, obviously we know this is an elite rushing attack. Rushing yards game, number 2. Rushing yards, okay, wow, they have different numbers. They have them at 2. ESPN has them at number 1. But I guess however they count, I'm sure it's close. But regardless, number 5, when it comes to rushing yards a play. Number 11 when rush yards a game. Number 2 in rushes a game, and number 2 in rush yards a game. Their defense is a top 10 in every aspect when it comes to defense, when it comes to rushing, and we know how terrible Colorado is as rushing the game, and you know how I feel about Colorado. If Colorado can't stick with the run game, there's no way they can win this game. It's just as simple as that. I know what y'all are saying. Shedeur Sanders is great. I know Travis Hunter is great. I know, but I'm saying from a college football perspective, controlling the game perspective, you need to be able to have a run game you can rely on, to be able to end games, to be able to do things. The only reason why Georgia can end a game like that and not get embarrassed like by Kentucky is because they have a run game that they can rely on. They have a way to control the game in some way, even if they don't have the most explosive offense in the world, right? It's a lot more important to be able to close games than it is to be able to just to put points on the board. Now pass play percentage here. I mean, golly, they just don't pass. They're just gonna run. They're just gonna run down Colorado's throat. So let's see how their rush. I'm just gonna go straight to the rush defense. Middle of the pack rush defense. As for as much as we give the defense a hard time, middle of the pack rush defense there. Colorado offense is number 68 when it comes to points a game. Not terrible. Middle of the pack, except for yards of play, they're number 98th, bottom of the league, and fourth down conversion and third down conversion. They're middle of the package there at number 67. Opponent's points a game, number 50, number 41. Again, middle of the pack as well, except for fourth down conversion. Middle of the pack and pretty high when it comes to all opponents' third down conversion. Decent. So defense is a little bit middle of the pack. Rushing statistics, I mean, we know they're terrible. They are allergic to running the ball. They are a middle of the pack and number 5 for passes a game. That's crazy. Top 20 in pass yards a game. Probably the bottom in the league again in quarterback sacks. And after that, I gotta be honest with you, I don't need to say much else. UCF is gonna win this game, and I think it's gonna be more than 2 touchdowns. I hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I'm wrong. And Colorado has another miraculous last-second win. They find a way to run the ball against UCF. They control the game and keep it out of the clock. Because the thing is, rushing also equals time of possession. The more that I can run the ball and keep it, I can keep it out of the hands of an explosive offense. So if Colorado doesn't find ways to keep the ball out of, like vice versa, keep the ball out of that offense that's going to do that, y'all are going to have to do that somehow. Get lots and lots of first down. Eat as much clock as you can. Make sure you're effective scoring if you want to win. But I think this is going to be a 35-13 type of day. I think it's going to be I think Shador's going to have a hard day. I think Seaton's going to learn a lot going against UCF. They got some Florida boys. Again, their defense isn't the top tip. They're a little middle of the pack, and I think that's also good that Colorado has a bit of a middle of the pack defense. I think they've got some chances to do some things and make some plays happen. But at the end of the day, this whole idea that they're going to go completely defeated, I think is a little bit silly. I think this is a team that's got a lot of spunk to it. It's got a lot of flavor to it, right? And here's Gus Malzahn talking about Colorado just to finish some stuff out.
Since they won the national championship, every coach has their own way of doing things, including me. I'm a high school coach. I was one of the first high school coaches, and I was isolated, man. I was on an island, and there was a little bit of feel that, well, he's doing it his own way. And whether people agree or disagree, let me tell you, they're talking about it. And the national media's talking about it. Recruits like it, and it's a big game coming here. Let's say he wasn't the coach, they come here, it probably wouldn't be the same. So I've got a lot of respect for him, the way he does it. I do it my way, he does his way. We're both kind of, I don't know if outsiders are the way, but we do it our own way.
Okay.
And so I got a lot of respect for him. His son, the quarterback, he's one of the best in the country, if not the best. I saw that when I was at that camp, and he was going in 10th grade. Like, that guy's really good. He just happens to be Deion Sanders' son.
Okay. I like to hear that. Last 2 games have been a lot more respectful. Obviously, it's not a rivalry. But this is what I mean. Like, all the fake hate, all the weird getting charged up, Dan Lanning using this as like some weird excuse to fire off on Colorado, the 4-8 team. I don't know. I never understood that. So the fact that I'm seeing a lot more respect is great to see. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be exciting in the first half, but I think that running game from UCF is just going to start getting boring and start grinding things out. But I hope I'm wrong. Hope Colorado can wins out because it's a lot more entertaining if they do. It's a lot more fun if they do. But other than that, man, you get in the comments and tell me what your prediction is for this game for this week. Leave a like on this video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, man. I appreciate you for watching this video.